To everyone. It's, Thank you so much for joining in today. It's a real pleasure to welcome all of you, and we feel really honored to have such stalwarts amongst us for this session. So really glad to see all of you. I've interacted with a few of you through the day, and really looking forward to sort of take this forward. The topic for today's discussion is supercharging brick-and-mortar retailers to leverage machine learning for better outcomes or for excellence. That's really what the topic is all about. And the way we're going to conduct this is we're going to have it to be more informative, more collaborative. I'm going to just talk a little bit about where I see AI, what are the problems that I see, and I'm going to open up the floor to each one of you and just ask your inputs as well, and where you see within your own industry, within your own verticals, how you see AI making a difference. And then we're going to come on to a common ground at the end of it. Is that all right with everyone? Wonderful. So why don't I start with a round of introductions. I'm Kiran Kowlgi. I'm the co-founder for HipHip. This is Nitin Sahni. He's my co-founder for HipHip as well.
Hi everyone, good afternoon.
HipHip is a retail excellence product for the stores. We launched about 2 years back, and now we're working with some of the large retail companies within India, companies having more than 2,500 stores. And we provide them this application that allows them to streamline their store operations at the ground level and then report on that efficiency across the entire organizational hierarchy. So that's what the product is all about. Now, there are many wonderful people here, so why don't I start from here, and if you can just do a quick round of introduction.
Yes. Hello. Yes, I'm audible? Yes. Hi. So my name is Dhruv Garg. I'm from Stanmax Retail Stores, Delhi NCR. And we have got retail showrooms in Delhi of roughly around 20-25,000 square feet, where we sell premium apparel brands such as Armani, Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, all of them, for men, women and kids. And apart from that, we also have our own fashion apparels brand called Global Republic. It's a women western wear brand, and we are currently operating out of 125 locations pan-India. Thank you.
Hi, so I'm Shahruz. I'm representing the brand called Meena Bazaar, women ethnic brand. I hope you guys all aware about it. So,
Anyone who's married is a
so we are now on 70 plus stores right now, opening up every month a store into the bucket, all on Coco model. And yes, interesting to see how all fellow panelists are going to have something on this machine learning and AI, which is going to help our operations as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sir, please.
Hi, this is Samiran. I'm from Purple Brands. Purple is a brand which is basically into skincare and cosmetics. It's been 10 plus years. We opened our, let's say, online journey in 2012. And last year we have started our offline journey. It's been a year. We have opened 65 outlets in last 1 year, and around 200 odd kiosks apart from it of another brand called Faces Canada. That also is an acquisition which happened last year. Last year, I stay corrected, and hope the journey continues.
Wonderful. Samir, just an interesting story. When I got the list of all of your distinguished members on my email the day before yesterday, my daughter picked it up and she saw Purple and she said, "Oh, you're meeting the Purple guys, tell them I love their product." So I wanted to make sure I tell you that.
Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sir.
It's a pleasure.
My name is Sridharan. I'm director of Parcos. Parcos is a luxury premium fragrance retailer. We have 61 stores across and 45 major international brands we deal with, plus 20 other prestige branches which is not there in the Parcoses, but we deal with them for other retailers.
Wonderful, sir. And Sridharan sir, are you okay if I tell everyone that the more they interact, the better discount you're going to give them at your stores?
That is, we could
Sorry
discuss
to put you on
offline.
the spot, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, please.
Hi, I'm Sumit. I'm from a Landmark Group, which Lifestyle International Private Limited, which handles a portfolio of Lifestyle, Home Center, Max, Easy Buy, Spar, Fun City and everything. I take care of the expansions for Lifestyle, Home Center, and Max division. So the portfolio of the group in the country is around 800 plus outlets into different formats, which I just explained. So that's how it is, the landmark journey here.
Wonderful, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, sir. Ma'am?
So I'm Rashmi and I head business development for White House. White House is a menswear brand. We're based out of Hyderabad. We have around 85 stores across Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, and these are EBOs. And we work with around 350 MBOs across the southern region. And yeah, currently we are looking for, like how the reason I was selected for this topic is I was the one who introduced a lot of tech into the brand.
Wonderful.
And I think it's a good time to be alive in retail at least. Right?
Absolutely, ma'am. Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you for that, ma'am. Sir, please.
I'm Vidit Dedia, running a home and kitchen retail store, a retail chain in Bombay. We are about 8 stores in Bombay right now.
All right. Wonderful, sir. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zahid. I head IT for Forever New. So we're a women's fashion brand from Australia. In India, we have a good presence. We are there for last 15 years in the country in a direct model. We have offline stores, we're in online. And I see probably by looking into the panelists, I see probably I'm the only one who is representing tech here. So I would be highly interested in understanding the perspective from the other side of it, from the business user, what they thinks about AI and how it is useful in an offline environment.
And now I'm stuck.
Good to be here.
Now I'm stuck. I thought I was the only guy in tech. I could have gotten away by saying anything I want, but you could fact check me now. So I'll have to be careful. But thank you for that, sir. Sir, please. No, I don't think. Is the light on, sir? Yeah.
Hi, my name is Vishal. I kind of represent a brand, Good Flippin' Burgers. 60 plus stores across the country at this point of time, and I basically help the store development for the company.
I should say you are the reason I'm having this. For the last 6 months, we've been ordering a burger from Good Flipping Burger every second week.
You're my best friend in that case.
You are not right now. But thank you for that introduction, sir. Sir, please.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon to everyone out here. My name is Ketan. I represent Apollo Pharmacy. I lead marketing for Apollo Pharmacy. We have 6,500 stores across the length and breadth of this country. We have we do roughly about 9.5 lakh bills a day. We open 2 stores in a day. We do about 50,000 orders, online orders, and deliveries across 19,000 pin codes. Looking forward to this session and nice to meet you all.
Those are
Thank
some
you.
impressive numbers, sir. I don't know what I can do to top that at the moment, but fantastic, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Adi, sir.
I'm the only odd man out here.
I don't think it's on, sir.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I'm the only odd man out here. I'm actually working with Nitin and Kiran, both of them. Spent 30 plus years in the technology space and working as a consultant, especially following the new technology trends. In the last one and a half year, everybody is speaking about AI, so I'm just trying to see how it can be used in the different sectors. And I work closely with both of them. Thank you.
So Rajesh sir is very modest. I should say that he's been the CIO for some of the largest operations companies in India and internationally as well. And we're lucky to have him on the panel with us. Nitin, if you want to just round off with the introduction.
Sure. Nitin, along with Kiran, both of us are co-founders at HipHip. We see ourselves as completely dedicating ourselves to in-store experiences and how any new technology, including AI, I mean, I know it's a buzzword today, but we are very focused on driving in-store experience, both for customers. We're also very focused on the employees who work at the retail outlets. I think we always keep them central and focused to whatever solution we develop, because ultimately those will be the individuals who will be responsible for, or will be consuming that technology and will be operating that technology. So whatever we build is kept using in mind the customer and the employees who are going to use it. So broadly, glad to be with all of you, and thank you all for attending.
Yeah, thank you once again, guys. It's really an honor to be here in this room with all of you. What really excites me is we've probably got someone from every vertical, which is pretty phenomenal for a panel, right? We've got footwear, we've got F&B, we've got fragrances. I mean, we've covered pretty much, we've got kitchen. I mean, we've got a lifestyle. Every single vertical is covered. So I'm really hoping that we get some really interesting thoughts going on here. So, as I mentioned, the topic is about supercharging the brick-and-mortar retail stores using AI and to drive excellence, right? Now, when you think about the stores that you run, right, you obviously have some sort of a hierarchy in those stores. You've got a store manager, and then you've got sales promoters or store promoters sort of reporting into them. And when you think about what a store manager actually does, I mean, think about it. I mean, the guy is going to come in, the girl is going to come in, open the store. They're going to make sure the store is neat and clean. Then they're going to make sure the product displays are all stacked well and correctly so that it's visible to the consumers. Then they're going to attend to the consumers. Then they're going to do sales. Then they're going to look at the accounting books. Then they're going to do inventory. I mean, and then of course they have to represent the brand in a particular manner. They literally are probably some of the hardest working people and who have got the most complex tasks that need to be done in the entire organization. Not to take away from anything anyone else does, but they literally represent your brand on the ground in front of consumers, right? Online is just a brand logo. There, it's the person that's representing the brand. So the experience is completely different. And this makes their task so much more complex. It's like a superhuman task. And what we wanted to do when we sort of came up with this idea for HipHip about 2 years back was, how do we simplify their life? That was what our product was all about. And that was a sort of the genesis of it. And we started working with an organization that's a very large footwear company in India and trying to understand what their problems were. And we started solving those needs as a part of our product development life cycle. That's how we went about it. What I would like to do, because we are at a stage where we believe the product actually serves its purpose very, very well. And what we realized as a part of the journey was, whilst everyone is talking about AI, there's a very broad spectrum of what someone means when they talk about AI. AI could mean anything from one end of the spectrum, which is high-level computer vision, machine learning, generative AI, to something as simple as a simple data analytics to say, what is my projection for the next 6 months? So the spectrum is very, very broad. And the reason we wanted to have this session today was you guys are all stalwarts in the industry. We wanted to understand what does AI actually mean to you so that we can all come on a common platform and understand how it can actually help the end store manager, the store promoter at the store that's representing you and your business. What can we do to make their life simpler? Where do you see that going? That's really the intent of this entire discussion. So as I mentioned, we're going to keep it very collaborative because you guys are the experts at running your businesses. You guys know your industries very well. So I'm going to look for inputs from each and every one of you to ask, how do you think, this can make a difference? So let me start off with you, sir, first. From your perspective, within your industry, how do you see AI evolving? Has it evolved? Do you believe it's at a stage where, let's say, the rest of the world is, or do you feel that, we still have a lot of catch-up to do, and what are the catch-ups like?
I think in the retail industry, AI is still very primitive. And I think there's a lot of scope for AI to revolutionize different aspects of retail businesses. So if I look at it, look of it in my own stores, what we've tried to adopt in AI is something very different. So for example, in the customer journeys, what we've started doing is we've started asking the customers to click a photo of the bill and send it to us on WhatsApp. And from there, a CLM journey starts, the customer's life cycle journey starts. And from there, we get to tap onto the customer at different levels and invite them back to our stores. I know it's perfectly not AI based, but what we've decided to do is we've decided to break it into different trees altogether. So based on what customer preferences, based on what customers are purchasing, we are sending them offers for those similar products itself.
Of course.
So over there, we are trying to use AI. And apart from that, we're also asking those customers to cross-sell, to cross-buy actually.
Of course.
So
Very smart.
someone who's buying a shirt can obviously buy a denim from a different brand, but of a similar price point.
Of course.
So, and I think AI can also be used in multiple other ways. So another thing where we are using AI is in HR. So I feel this is very ironic, by the way, that AI is helping HR, but it's also replacing HR at the same time.
Fair point.
Yeah, but what we are trying to do over here in AI is, so even with the payrolls management, as well as in the training videos which we send over to the employees, we are using different AI platforms to educate our employees on different products which are coming to our shelves. And we are launching fresh fashion every 15 days. We are launching around 500 SKUs in a particular season. So it becomes very tedious and very difficult for us to make training videos and to make training PPTs and then to assess those people based on those PPTs. So I think AI can play a very important role over there in assessing those, in educating our employees of those products and as well as assessing them on it.
I think those are some fantastic points, and this is exactly where I was hoping the conversation would go. So with the first point that you mentioned, you rightly said it might not be fully AI, and this is what I mean when I talk about the spectrum of what AI actually is. It is so vast that it's incalculable to see what the start and the end of it is. So whilst you're using AI in a smaller fashion, when you talk about people clicking the picture, and sending your WhatsApp, and you may have some AI there doing some computer vision possibly, but on the other hand, when you talk about your HR or when you talk about what you're doing in terms of new products, there you're probably wanting to use more AI as well. So what I would like to just mention here is, this is a digitization journey. People often mistake AI, and like you rightly said, these are steps that you need to take, right? It's not just suddenly you're not AI and suddenly now you have AI. It never happens like that. It's never just, you don't start running before you start walking. So it's a stepwise journey. You digitize yourself fully first. Make sure you've got all the data that you need to make a fully compatible AI solution for your organization. That's when you will drive benefit out of it. Else, it's going to be like a white elephant that you just keep on feeding and feeding and feeding, and one day you're going to get frustrated and you're going to say, I don't know what the hell these tech guys do. They spend crores and crores. Please get them out. This is not working for me. मैं अपना business चला लूँगा जैसे मैं चलाता था. That's what it's literally going to come down to. So thank you so much. That's very, very good inputs. And I think you've mentioned where I also thought the industry is at. Thank you so much for that, sir. Sir.
So in our case, we using AI for a content creation, where we are sending all these messages, WhatsApp messages and all to the customers, and yes, segregating our data into different blocks like rocket, super rocket, customer, what they are buying, what behavior is, whether they are a sari customer or a kurti customer, and accordingly we are sending them their offers, and then the product launches that we are regularly introducing into the brand. Secondly, I think one major point here is, is it necessary to get the brand fully automated? Again, as a customer base we have is a 3 generation altogether, where we are serving the customers. One is Dadi, one is the Bahu of that particular, and then the Poti which comes out. Now, we have 3 different generation. One is Gen Z, one is, you can say, millennial, or one is old age home. So now here the important part of technology comes when we going to implement, or we try to implement all these things. Is it going to help every customer base, or is it going to complicate the things? Or it is complicating the things for my employees as well, as we have a 60% employees of a legacy background. So we have an employee of 30 years, 40 years of experience, and injecting the technology into the blood, it's really a hard work for us. So it's totally whether it is required for the brand or not. So this is something which is important thing for us.
Absolutely, and I think you made a very, very good point. Is it needed for everyone? That's a fundamental question that every organization needs to answer. Like you clearly mentioned, every organization, especially a brick-and-mortar retail shop, they have different types of consumers coming in. In your case, you've got 3 generations coming in, right? Every generation has a different need. Is a common AI platform going to solve all their needs? Probably not. A Gen Z will probably want something that they can actually post online, post on their Instagram, post on their TikTok. The second generation, probably the one above, is probably going to want something a little bit different. Definitely the third generation above is not going to care about AI at all. They don't care if you can give them recommendations. They would still want to see 50 saris laid out in front of them and then make a decision based on that. So it's a great point to make. AI is not the same for everyone. Not every consumer of yours, not every user of yours will see AI in the same way. So it is very important when you get into an AI journey that you start off at a very base level to say, okay, what is my most basic of level that I need AI for? You start off from there and you start building onto it. And this is exactly, to your point, it's exactly what we did with HipHip. We started doing our surveys when we started thinking about HipHip about 2.5 years back. We started going out to the market trying to figure out what does everyone need. And we had people coming in talking to us about VR and AR and said, why can't you build this for us? To someone saying, मेरे को बस analytics दे दो, मेरा काम हो गया. So we did that entire research, and it's exactly the same conclusion that we came out to, was, you know what, there's no point in building a rocket, right? If it's not going to go anywhere from, Thane to Malad or, Gurgaon to Delhi, वो rocket का क्या करना? It's not needed. And we built it in a stepwise fashion, exactly like you said. So great point. Thank you for that. Makes a lot of sense. Sir.
Yeah, so for us, see, as I said, we started in tech first. Being a tech first retailer, when we came into offline stores, our journey was a bit different. We tried to leverage this AI and tried to take advantage so far in various aspects of the journey so far. So if I'm talking about a location intelligence, we generally take about when we think of expansion first, we take the location advantage that, okay, whether do we have this segment, what is the, let's say, cart value these people are getting, what are the average consumption of that market, and out of which whether you would be getting a substantial size or you'll be growing that market or not. That is also AI.
Absolutely.
We are getting the penetration data
Absolutely.
for that. We are planning the demand. After that, we do the real estate is a very big challenge right now.
Of
So
course.
planning the right kind of demand. Okay, most of the retailers are stuck with the unused stuff, goods, which later on we need to liquidate or give away. So demand planning, also going, and that too going deeper into pin code level penetration. If you go each of the pin codes, we have 22,000 pin codes in India. Each of the pin codes will have different dynamics, and their consumers would have a certain cluster, and that cluster will behave differently. So, predicting that demand right way, and then some places the dynamics is like that you would have a demand of certain kind of SKUs, certain products more, and some places at the very same season you would have a different that product doesn't sell at all.
Absolutely.
So that also AI and the machine learning, which are trying to help basically guide us through, and we are stuck with less inventory because of that. Then the third thing which comes is in-store experience. You get in the right kind of people to the store at the right time, probably, getting the old school way, your birthdays, anniversaries. Not only that, the targeted consumers, whether that consumer is relevant to your segment on that particular month, and you basically give that personalized touch. It is basically tech and touch, I would say. So if you are going to do that and introduce AI, we are working on a couple of that. Very lightly, I'll not go deep into it, but very lightly, people are now trying to do that. You're having the tools like you have virtual trials, you're having the tools like you have recorders. How you're interacting with your consumers, okay? What are their demands? What typically are the keywords? Then backtracking them and seeing what are the conversation, how your store staff can converse well. So everything can be done within the limits of the AI, not
engine.
crossing the personal boundaries. That is one. And the last but not the least is training of the staff and human capital. Evolving them, everybody. Right now, 10 years back when we used to look at business development as a vertical, we used to take the market consumption. That market, okay, यहाँ पे 10 retailers है, 10 retailer का combined इतना business है, and इसमें आप वो करते हो. That doesn't work anyway. It doesn't work. It is basically all the different things, and you have to evolve and unlearn everything, and there's no gut feeling. So it's how things has changed, and
fantastic.
we are doing that.
Fantastic. No, that's really good to know. So you do seem to be much more ahead in your AI journey. And I think the key points that I picked up one was about your location intelligence. Now that's a very smart way to go about things. And again, when we started off with HipHip, this was something that came to our mind, saying, do we get into this sort of area of work for location intelligence? And we saw there were a lot of companies that were doing a lot of good work, because obviously it requires a lot of data. So we said, okay, we're not going to do location intelligence, but we're going to do the next step of that journey. Once you've identified a store, unlike a website, which you can just put up and pull down, I mean, you would agree, sir, it's very, very simple. Opening up a store and closing a store is a phenomenal, it's a mammoth task. God knows how many groups of people are involved, how many external companies are involved. So what we said is, okay, forget the location intelligence part of it. Once the location has been identified, the project management to build up a store and all the activities to build up a store, let's pull that into the application, into HipHip. Because that was one area that no one was looking at. Because it was not just project management, it was vendor coordination, task assignment, it was workflow driven. So we pulled that into HipHip to say, okay, let's do this. Let the location intelligence be like what you said, you're getting data from external feeds to make a decision on where you want to open the store. Everything from that, we said, let's pull it in. So, but it's a very smart way to do it. The other thing that you mentioned about conversational awareness and even training of staff, again, very, very good areas to use AI in. Because at the end of the day, what AI allows you to do is allows you to, one of the features of AI is it allows you to pull data from disparate sources and tries and make sense out of them, right? It gives you the output in a manner in which it probably makes more sense, which can be more derivative in nature. So conversational awareness is really a good way to go about it, and even training of staff. But one thing that I would suggest we also look at is product awareness. So what do I mean by that? Imagine that you're launching a new product in your store, right? Oftentimes what happens is, what we observed is, when, at least with the footwear company and with the other bag company, is they launched a new product. You would go to the store and you would ask the store manager saying, can you tell me the features of this product? And the guy will start rattling out some stuff that he knows, and he'll probably not know everything about it. Now, all the research that's gone into identifying this is the product that the market needs, this is how I should build the product, all that effort and money and time is gone for naught, because the guy at the ground level is not able to give out that information to the consumer. So you probably end up losing a customer because of that, and also the brand value and the brand equity. What, again, to support that and to enable that, and to your last point, which is for training, the way we design on our side, which probably might help, is the fact that what we said is, okay, we will give the person the information as a part of the visual merchandising guideline or the planogram that we have. Alongside that, we will give a quiz. So you can ask the guy at the store 5 questions, 7 questions that help you determine, has the guy understood or the girl understood what is the product that you're trying to launch? If they answer those questions above a certain threshold, you're good to go. If they cannot answer the questions, give the quiz again. Give the quiz a third time. If they still don't pass out of the third time, then you've got a problem where you need someone senior to step in, maybe go and meet that guy and say, look, this is a product you got to sell. This is what it does. Please make sure you inform the customer about it, right? That becomes a very critical component of your training, because then you ensure your store managers are in compliance with the product that you're trying to sell to the consumer, and they become the best brand ambassadors you'll ever have. So that's just one thing I would like to add, but phenomenal, sir. I think you're on a great journey path. Yeah, please.
So you've rightly mentioned that, we can take a quiz using AI and ask and understand if the promoter has understood the products or the features of the product or not. But oftentimes I realized कि promoters आपस में ही quiz तो pass कर लेते थे, but end of the day result नहीं निकलता था उसमें.
Correct.
So the next thing that we started doing was हमने उनका वाइवा लेना शुरू कर दिया. Difficult for them, good for us.
Right.
But I think that helped us a lot. जो प्रोडक्ट्स के जो आपके हीरो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं उनके जो फीचर्स बताने होते हैं वो बहुत इजीली जिस तरीके से हम बता रहे हैं बैक ऑफिस में वो फीचर्स उसी एम्फेसिस से क्या वो प्रमोटर बता रहे हैं एंड पे वो वाइवा से निकल कर आना शुरू हुआ.
See, Dhruv spoke like a typical businessman who knows his business in and out, because he knows the ground reality problem, something we've seen completely in and out with every store that we visited. आपस में जुगाड़ करते हैं, आंसर करते हैं, निकल जाते हैं. So obviously we've established some boundaries that they're not able to do it, but great point. It just shows that you're completely...
पेपर लीक हो जाता है पहले.
Yeah, very, very valid point. Thank you for that. Sir, please.
Yeah. We are talking about brick and mortar, how to make best out of AI into brick and mortar operation. That is the basic what we are looking.
Yes, sir.
Looking at, I'm coming from the period when we don't have anything, 25 years back. We have a lot of counters. The person go and deliver a chart to make the sales report. Somebody go and collect it on the weekend and bring it a weekly report. So that time it was a manual process what is happening. I'm talking about 25 years.
Of course, sir.
So a lot of time is used that time. Subsequently, the computer has been introduced. Then they start putting on the computer. Now we have come with the AI apps. Okay, as soon as you today you put on the app, we get online whatever it is happening on each locations. So I'm looking today, we are progressing. We are progressing from 25 years now to you look at it, we have progressed quite a lot in the industry on the technical is concerned. Now I look at the AI in few areas where I look at in the retail format. Is currently set is the training. Actually, the people who are really on the counter, they are the ambassador. They are the breadwinners for
Of
me.
course.
I don't go to the office, nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
If they don't go to the counter that day, we don't get it anything.
Absolutely.
You see? So they are the breadwinners. And unless others, they have been motivated and trained well, you will not get what you wanted to.
Correct.
So currently we have a system working on the online trading which is happening. As I told you, I have 18,000 SKUs, 45 major brands. Out of that, about 950 to 8,000 SKUs are in all stores. So if you look at it, one sales ambassador or salesman who is in the counter, if you tell them to know about all these 1,000 SKUs,
It's impossible.
what it belongs to, he will not be able to
Absolutely
know.
not.
Unless otherwise he has been so passionate to understand
Yeah.
it, which is not the case. So normally, so we have that in the perfume industry, we have normally known as 3 note, that base note, heart note and top note. So when you do a perfume, you get one smell, that is known as our base, that is what you feel. Then you have after maybe an hour later, you will get another note, which is a heart note, and a settled fragrance or the smell is the top note.
Top note.
That will remain for 8 hours or 9 hours, whatever may be the constitution of the perfume, what it is concerned, ingredients which is used. Now, training is one of the most important. So AI can develop certain things. I'm talking about AI can develop. Today what we are doing is on the social media platform, we are training the product. Example, this product has come. We'll tell him this is a product, this is what it is, and these are the ingredients inside, and these are the notes inside. So if you look at it, the store people, you know their caliber, what type of what you call is educational background, and at the end of the day what they earn out of that is also the type of the people who are being employed there. So we are not expecting them to be a super intelligent people to sell it. They are basic people,
Yeah.
but we have to create them to sell our products in a way that they will be able to deliver what. So coming to that, the one thing I could see in the stores level, if I look at it, there are 2 aspects. As a consumer, I go as a consumer, I accept 2 things. One is a presentable approach to me, why I come to buy, what I want to buy. Once I say, this is what I want to know, I wanted to buy, he may not immediately know. Experienced people know, the new people will not know. Of
course.
So AI can help you to say that, hey, show him this. He will be able to understand this is equal to what he needs. So AI can be one area can be identify what a consumer wanted. So that area is one. Another 2 is that what is the consumer wanted, that he will be able to, even he is not knowing where it is, what it is, but at least he can tell you that this product can be
Similar to what you're looking
similar
for.
to what he is looking at
Absolutely.
it. This is area. Training is another point what we have. The training is in the sense we will have to feed with the AI. Any product comes, we need not to explain to the people. It has to come to the system. The boy have to or girl has to read that one and get into the training. Once a person, you are a calibered person in the store, and a presentable guy or whatever it is, a good associate there, and you have a right product to sell, I'm thinking the business is successful. The business should be successful.
Absolutely. Now, I think I really like both your points. I especially like the thought process that you had around identification of what the consumer needs, especially in a business like yours. So I met Sir over lunch. He runs an all-factory business, right? I mean, it is a business so unique. I've been racking my brain since lunch trying to figure out how can AI actually help him, because smell, well, AI can't do anything about it, right? It can do with data, it can do with visual, right? It can even do with touch. Well, what does it do with smell? But you made a great point, sir. Identification of what a consumer may need, depending on what he's describing, is actually a very, very good function of AI. In fact, when you start doing generative AI, this is actually one of the first things that you end up doing, because what generative AI does is just, it's predicting the next word. So in your case, when the customer comes in and says, and I mean, it could be any sort of app that says, look, I'm looking for something that's got a subtle note of a floral, that's probably got a jasmine scent to it. Using those keywords, it's able to then determine what could the person be looking for. So that's a great use case for it, absolutely. The second very important point that you mentioned is, while you look at ensuring that people are trained on SKUs by giving them quizzes, what happens when the number of SKUs are so large? No one can remember that data, right? It's impossible to do so. So then how do you enable AI to help that store manager? It's a very, very good point. And just to sort of close this loop, what we did, because this was obviously a problem that we faced within footwear. I mean, we were nowhere close to the 27,000 SKUs you had, but we were still dealing with about 1,500, 2,000 SKUs at any given point of time. Not an extremely large number, but still difficult for someone to remember. And there were many, many data points. Each shoe had about 20, 30 data points to talk about. So what we ended up doing was, we ended up creating like think of it like a knowledge base. So when the consumer was asking about a specific product, the app would just pick up, and just the store manager could read off it saying, and the consumer would say something like, does it have a rubber insole? Yes, it has a rubber insole. Is it going to slip? No, it's not going to slip. Is it friendly on wet surfaces? Yes, it's friendly on wet surfaces. So the important points that consumers were always asking for was starting to come up. Yes, sir, please.
So I have one point. I
Absolutely.
don't know how many people would agree to it, but I have seen, especially with the format like barcodes, what happens, sirs,
So you might just want to move the mic a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Is it better now?
Yes, much.
Okay, so especially with a format like barcodes, what happens? 95% of the times, okay, usually that person who's selling the perfume are selling you the right perfume, you are going to like it, and the conversion rates are going to be higher than any other format. So I can't remember myself coming out of a barcodes without buying a perfume, and most of the people would do that, but your conversion rates are really high.
Really high.
Typically the AI or sense of the consumers are inbuilt, or training, I don't know what you're doing, but something is right.
There you go, sir. You probably then don't need AI. Your people are all AI driven already then. Fantastic, sir. No, those are some...
See, the thing is today, the world is moving. The things are coming into picture, and you are not adopting to that. You are behind the scene.
Absolutely.
This
Absolutely.
is the most important thing. Today I will feel I'm doing a great business. I don't need anything more to do it. I'm doing a great business. I'm doing it. But it is not going to the end of the story, because the world is moving. And if you are not moving through the world, especially in the retail industry, you will be pulled back. You will be pushed back. So the upgradation in all areas is more important. Not only AI, I'm talking about in general, whatever the updation what we need, right? Whether it is a manpower in it, or whether it is a training, whatever it has to be followed.
Absolutely,
just
sir.
jump
That
in
makes
with,
a lot of sense.
with just one tiny point. I think the level of personalization that some of the e-commerce players are able to offer is like unparalleled. It's really high. I think the question now is, and I think everybody's sort of coming to that same theme, is how do we offer the same level of personalization at our retail outlets? And whether that be through recommendation engines, better learning and development, better inventory optimization, better information available to store promoters or store managers at their fingertips, which are recommended to them so that they can have more engaging conversations with customers. Also, this entire thing we feel about retail outlets need to be experience centers for your brands. So I think that's another theme that I'm seeing kind of gradually emerge, like as an experience center. because a lot of information is available online, but how can they really come and experience your brand? So I think there is going to be a lot of new ways, and we'll kind of, as we go around, we'll see, what we can do more in terms of making that experience sort of more immersive. So I'll just pause here. I know time is limited. A lot of people need to kind of talk. Maybe what we will not do is maybe comment after every person speaks. We'll probably summarize right at the end. Yeah.
That was, by the way, that was Nitin's side remark to me saying, "Aar ke baat mat bol, let everyone finish."
Okay.
Thanks, Nitin. Sir, please.
So I was hearing to all the gentlemen here. So as retail and brick and mortar, what we are talking about, it's going to be always a fusion of AI, data, technology, machine, whatever we call it. Because in retail, the essence of the business is look and feel, touch, and that feel is never going to be going off, because that's what retail is all about. That's the brick and mortar, and which is there for years, even if the omni-channel, digital. But yeah, AI or tool or whatever machine learning is always going to be playing a pivotal role. Like if we put in today's era, there's two eras for us. One is a pre-COVID era and a post-COVID era. Now all of the retail companies or all the brands or all of us have taken a leap over post the COVID era, where the technology or the AI has played a pivotal role for all of us. Now if I give an example for our kind of a retail trade, which is cross food and grocery, we are into apparels, we are into entertainment, we are into multiple dimensions. The AI has played a role in terms of the segregation of the data for us. One. Then in the back end, the inventory management, the bin sortment, or we call it as a paperless bills, or we call it an interaction. We also call the world in our stores, which is called the endless aisles, which is basically if you are in a physical store and something is not available of your size or your color or any apparel, so you don't have to worry and wait for another store or go online. We have got a device or a platform there which says that wherever it's available in the entire country, even if it's in a warehouse and everything, it will get
delivered to you.
Either to you or to the store whenever you want it in a day or two and everything. So we call it as endless aisles, that the store limits have not got over now, because the inventory in the stores, it's not just limited to the inventory in the store, it's much beyond throughout. Then third is the dimension where we all be talking about the training and the development of the team, which earlier used to be dependent on physical presence, being at place. Now we do all the training sessions sitting at somewhere, and all this, the requirements and everything come based on the specific. It's most customized kind of a training. Every individual is not being trained in the same manner, same kind of a manual, which was like a manual, one fit all. You give it and everything, and that's how. Because the AI has played a role that depending on their answers, how they are acting, reacting to it, the chronology of the questions and the sequencing changes. So that's how it is happening with it. Then third is the fourth I would put in terms of when it comes to the real estate part of it and everything, which one part we are working on in terms of advancing it out, which everybody wants to do it. We are trying that journey. One part is from the layouts perspective. Now we do automation in terms of AI using our layouts, in terms of comparing it to the kind of a similar city, similar size, what kind of a layout should fit in terms of the zoning of the brands or zoning of the category of the products and everything. We are also working now. Earlier we used to do a manual kind of a handover of stores. Now it's all AI based and everything. That's all tool based and everything. One which we all want to work about, and we are working on it. How do we do a sales prediction model for our new upcoming store? Because still there's a fusion of art and science into it. Yes. We have data. We have all this data of pin codes all across how it's going to behave. But still it's a manual activity of predicting our sales, which at times can go haywire in terms of upwards also, downwards also. That's where the AI moving forward might be a couple of years down the line. AI would be predicting a right kind of a sales also for us. So that's how the journey. But in terms of retail, the fusion of both the things will go parallel to each other. Of course, it will keep on increasing the AI and the machine learning, but the brick and mortar and the look and feel is still in the part of the retail is always going to be there.
Absolutely. Phenomenal points. I really like some of the points you made, but I was really, what struck me the most was what you talked about, the fusion of art and science here, right? And I think that's a very, very important thing to note about AI. Basically, AI does nothing, but it's a probabilistic model. It just predicts what may come up next. It's never going to be fully accurate. When it's accurate, we say, you know what, this is amazing. But there are so many times it's not going to be accurate. I mean, there's a very famous real story where Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Jeff Bezos applied for a credit card and he got a credit card approval of about $1.8 million and his wife got a credit card approval of $1,000. Just the AI model was biased towards women, even in the United States of America. So because it's a probabilistic model, it's never going to be always accurate. And this is where art comes in, the art of experience comes in, something that AI will never replace. So I completely agree with you. Even with generative AI, it's only predicting the next word. It doesn't have any notion of what the next word actually means. It just keeps on predicting it based on the historical data that you've given it. No, great point there, sir. Thank you so much for that. I think that's a very, very, very quintessential aspect to what you mentioned. Thank you so much for that, sir. Ma'am, please.
So one thing is that no AI right now can even crack the Turing test. So that is definitely something where when you spoke about it being an art, it cannot be an art at least right now because it cannot crack the Turing test.
Absolutely.
But coming to what we are using in our company, of course, you know, like in terms of content creation, in terms of what do you say, well, communication that happens with the customer, we are using AI. But we went one step further, and by looking into the customer lifecycle management, also cohort creation of customers based on what level they are or what products they prefer and how to cross-sell to them and what are the SMSs that are to be written to them. All of this, there is an application that we use that does this for us, and even like a simple thing where what happens is that you, at least in terms of retail, you do not understand when the customer is about to drop off. Now, using machine learning, it can actually understand the customer journey, understand when the customer is about to drop off, and we can actually try to, revive them from the dead for the company. Essentially, AI has helped me to increase the lifetime value of a customer because I know when to reach them, how to reach them, why to reach them, and what is the offer or something that I have to give them at what time. So all the questions are being answered by AI and machine learning for us in terms of the customer. Now coming to the inventory management part, I think if you have anything above 1,000 SKU, inventory management is going to be a hell of a task. And especially now for me, it's clothing, so sizing really matters. So what size should be available in how much quantity in what location? That is going to determine a sale or a no sale for me.
Absolutely.
And using AI, what we are able to do is optimize it in a way that the right amount of product is available in the right location. And also, in case, you issue a certain number of products to across all stores, some products sell better in some stores, some don't.
Of course.
So identifying in which location there are products that are not selling but are selling in other stores at the right time, picking those up and putting it in the stores where it is selling is also was also a task that cannot be done manually. And with AI, I've been able to resolve that aspect of stuff as well.
Fantastic.
And finally, I think, we use an AI where the images of the store, so every day the store managers upload the VM and the store condition and etc. And AI actually identifies if there is trash on the ground, is the VM done properly, you give it proper guidelines, it will be able to identify. Because now thinking about it, one person cannot physically go through 85 stores worth of photos.
Of course.
It's going to take a whole day doing that, and then you forget what you saw the first store, and then by the time you reach the last store, I don't know, it's going to be haywire. So this actually identifies and throws up the store names which have discrepancies, and it's not following the VM guidelines or the color blocking that we are recommending, or even if the store is unclean. That also comes up. So all of this is again something that can be brought to the forefront and can save time. I can run a lean organization using AI, but I cannot run an organization without people.
Of course.
So ideally, this is aiding a person to do his job in a better way and a more time efficient manner.
Absolutely. And it's a great point. We've always looked at AI as being an enabler for someone and not necessarily a replacement. Whilst it does always seem that way, but AI potentially at some point of time is only going to be replacing jobs that probably, were, repetitive in nature in the first place, right? Something like setting up a VM, it's never repetitive. I mean, every time your campaign changes, your VM is changing. So those sort of jobs, you definitely need enablement and not replacement. Thank you for that. Those are great points. Thank you for that, sir.
So we are using AI for three particular use cases. One, as they mentioned, about training and content. So we are trying to merge both of these, and so running 13,000 SKUs and training for so many products is going to be tough. So creating content at scale for so many products, just giving them the context, just giving the AI to the context of fab or feature attribute benefit. So creating these videos at scale is what we're using it for. The second use case, operating across 50, 60 subcategories. I think identifying supplementary or complementary products is what we are using AI for, because data analysis in some way can do it, but AI can do it data analysis with some kind of logic once you give the context of your target audience, the context of your maybe some other retail metrics that you operate in. So giving that context plus the data of sale helps you to give, helps AI give a much better solution to what is the complementary product to the one the customer is buying. And the third one, I think as founders, we all, especially I think all of us are using is for access to contextual information. I think any business problem that you have has been solved in some way by someone other in the world. So tools like Perplexity, they are like legit taking information from wherever it's available and giving you it in a very contextual and actionable format. So I think access to contextual information is something which is, I think, really mind-blowing for AI and at least been used quite rigorously by me. So I think these three use cases.
No, I especially like the part about the contextual information. I think that's a very, very key metric that you drive out of the data that you're collecting. People generally look at the first data point and then they start making decisions on it. But it's the additional metadata that actually helps you understand where things are going wrong or right. No, that's great. Thank you so much for that data point, sir.
So I wanted to bring a clarity on a perception about AI. That AI is not a software which you can actually buy and then you say that and that that you are using AI. Because I've been asked these questions many times since I manage technology. Even I remember in one of the discussions, the investors in the company, they asked that, are we using AI? So it was difficult to answer because what happens that AI is not a software, as I said. AI is basically a machine learning algorithm which you are actually putting on your existing database. What happens that over the years you are collecting a lot of data. Typically in a retail organization, what happens that data collection is an easy step. Customer is buying, you are getting the data into a point of sale system or either into your online systems. You are collecting all that information, but how do you use that data? You create some algorithms. Now those algorithms are probably maybe you can actually think of some of those algorithms and you can actually filter out the data. But then you can think in a limited way. The AI, the way it is helping is that you don't need to put actually your own algorithm. It basically suggests you a lot of algorithms basis the historical data, basis the way you have actually utilized the data in the past. So it recommends and suggests you a lot of different way of see that the similar information. That's the perspective on the AI. Where I have noted down 6 use cases. I'll not touch base everyone because I think some of these are already discussed. One prime area where we are using AI is on the inventory allocation and replenishment because we feel that AI can actually do a better job there on a day-to-day basis, which is very difficult, to manually or in a different way plan which store will sell what. And in a fashion retail, what happens that you will have to actually churn your inventory very rapidly.
Yeah.
So if the store is able to sell something, whether you need to replenish with the same product or if the store is not selling something, whether you can actually take the product from that store and send that to a different store who's selling fast. So all these decisions need to be taken very, very rapidly, almost on a daily basis. So there we are using for allocation and replenishment. Another, we are a true omni-channel business. We do not want to create a friction in customer experience, whether the customer is coming from online or offline. We treat that as a one customer journey. Now, if a customer is coming, though actually the topic is for a brick and mortar, but I'll have to actually touch this.
Sure, please, sir.
So once an order comes through your online channel, so the order can be fulfilled from any of your location, whether it's a DC or the inventory is lying at any of your store. So if the inventory is kept at a store, how would you allocate the order? So we actually use AI there through its own intelligence. So there are some parameters which we have put in, and then we let AI to decide basis the customer proximity or customer location. And there are other parameters like which store is more profitable for us from a logistic perspective and from a revenue sharing basis, because all the malls nowadays are on a revenue sharing model.
Doing it, yeah.
So there it is actually working beautifully for us. So one more unique area where we are, and it's pretty new, and I believe that it's a very unique feature, is to gauge the staff engagement with the customer. What discussion the staff is having with the customer. I think you touched that, you are having a viva with the staff. But the way we were doing that, we are actually recording all those conversations silently. And we put an AI application on top of that. The AI will detect whether the customer has greeted the customer, whether the AI has shared the loyalty information about the customer, where the staff has discussed about the discounts running in the store and all, whether the customer is happy with the conversation and all that. So the AI will tell us that this staff is lagging in certain areas and it requires a training. So it's a very beautiful use case. Another few areas like CRM, I think some of you have already touched. Cataloging is another area, is purely for online, but it's difficult because different marketplaces have their own parameters, and it's very difficult to define for every single product fulfilling all those parameters. So AI is helping us fulfilling all those parameters. So it helps us doing the cataloging. Chatbots, which is not a bot really, but bot in a natural language format, using generative AI. So we can come to our WhatsApp and says, where is my product? You don't need to input your number, or you don't need to tell us the name. We can identify you basis your WhatsApp conversation, and we can straight away answer you that here is your product information. You also discuss about a use case that these days customer wanted to have discussion in natural language, like I need a product for a party wear. The search is changing, so we are actually using an AI in that area. I think I've touched all 6. There are a few areas where we are working on, like AI for photo shoots and all, but deliberately we are not using that because we feel that real is much better than the AI version of it. Virtual try-ons, like if you are in a store, it's impossible for you to try every product. But is there a technology wherein you simply stand in front of a screen or a digital mirror, and you simply bring the product and you can see yourself in that product? So we are slightly away with that, but we're working in that direction. And the last one is clienteling. You have a customer walk in, can you identify that the customer with the name, and do you know what is his historical purchases, what kind of a customer it is, how many loyalty points he is having, in all those areas.
Wonderful. No, those are some great points. In fact, I'm pretty impressed with the journey that you've already covered so far. That's actually very, very good. And the part that I like the most, where you talked about AI is not just one software, right? You can't just buy it off the shelf saying, "Ye mera AI ho gaya," right? I mean, it is a journey that you need to get through. No, fantastic, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Can I just jump in with one thing? Sorry to this thing. I think traditionally when we looked at technology, we used to look at it in terms of, I have some hardware, then I'll put some software on top of that. Yeah, and then there is going to be a user who's going to be using the software. That's how we've all looked at technology traditionally. And what e-commerce players, or even quick commerce players, and a lot of I would say, new age companies have done, they've flipped that. They've kind of transitioned out of that. And I think it's important for omni-channel players like ourselves and brick-and-mortar retailers to kind of think of it in a different fashion. So it's more about, having a interaction layer. Is what's the interaction you have with your consumers? What's the interaction you have with your customers? There's obviously a data layer, which is a huge layer. And where does your data sit? Everything that you're gathering, every touch point you're gathering, where does your data sit? And you call that, whether you call that data lakes or data warehouses or data hub, whatever that is, that's this huge layer. And then there is the intelligence layer. So we literally have to start thinking about our businesses in terms of the interaction layer, the data layer, and then the intelligence layer, because the intelligence is where you call artificial, whether it be machine learning, whether it's be camera analytics, whether it be recommendation engines, whatever, all the use cases you mentioned, that's all part of the intelligence layer. And then you've got to decide in terms of, what's your path to implement some of these journeys. That's a separate sort of discussion in terms of, how should I go about it for my organization? That's a separate discussion. We can get into that specific, because that's very specific to each organization. I thought I'll just share that perspective since, it came from a technology man.
Thanks for that, Nitin.
Thanks.
I should mention, I've seen in Hindi movies petals falling from the sky, but this is a new thing.
These are not petals.
Yeah,
these
they're
are
all
bird
feathers.
feathers.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe you guys are blessed in some shape and form. Petals, Giraj.
The coup is just over. Mahashivratri was over yesterday, I guess.
So I hope none of you mind just staying 10 minutes over. I apologize that it'll probably be delayed by about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but I hope that's all right with all of you.
Yeah, unless they don't throw us out of the room, I'm sure they have back-to-back sessions. See, in the interest of time, I will not talk about what we have been doing with technology or AI. I have a problem statement, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you guys can solve it for us or no. But say, for example, we do a lot of deliveries. So one is through the aggregators, and obviously then we obviously have to serve the customer sitting in the store, right? Is there a tool that can ensure that the right product goes to the right customer, right? It's going to be disastrous if a veg customer receives a non-veg product. Or I'm not getting what I've ordered for, right? And then the whole cost of customer acquisition to ensure that, one, it takes half an hour for the product to reach the customer via Swiggy, Zomato. He calls up the restaurants and says, hey boss, I ordered a paneer and you've sent me a Habibi, right? Then I have to ensure that I send the paneer once again, which means I have to then organize a rider on my own, right? And I have a upset customer who's hungry, right, waiting for the food to come. And half of the time I have 10 guests sitting at home and I've ordered a product and the product doesn't reach on time, or the wrong product reaches, is a disaster, right? So I'm saying, and in the interest of time, I'm just saying that is there a way, is there a technology, is there AI that can help us to ensure that before the product is packed in the box and before it is handed over to Swiggy, Zomato, right, I ensure that the right product is packed in the bag and the right bag is handed over to Swiggy.
It's actually a great, I wouldn't say it's a unique problem, but it's definitely a unique problem within the context of where India is in its digital journey. And especially in your case, given the product that you sell, when I look at it from the top or a distance, every burger will look almost the same. But there is definitely a solution to it. Again, in the interest of time, I probably won't bore everyone with it, but I can definitely catch up with you later on if you're available, and we can spend a few minutes.
I just want to add to that. Typically in your outlets,
you'll have some experience because I worked with McDonald's in their technology and how they were doing that for years. The chances of error were very, very minimal. That a veg customer is getting a non-veg or non-veg customer is getting a veg order.
So
probably we can discuss offline in the interest of time.
So just to simplify it, you normally have a preparation table and then a packing table, typically in your stores.
Agree.
Cameras placed at the right place, giving you the right camera computer vision feed, and integrating that with the POS ticket, which typically people who are packing it have, is a way to solve the problem. I think if computer vision can look at your assembling area and say that, a chicken patty looks different from a veg patty. If those things computer vision can capture, you have a solution on hands. Absolutely. And we can discuss that in detail offline. But it's going to be like through camera analytics and combining it with POS.
Agree.
That's what's going to give you the solution. We can discuss it in detail offline.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just one quick suggestion, if you can also color code in your assembly area, if you can put a digital screen and color code your products, And one simple thing is that all veg products in the green color, so that when the
So I think
person
that-
is
that's it.
assembling the product,
Yeah, yeah.
he ensures that it's a veg product.
No,
Small thing.
I get your point. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, even in our case with 60 stores, not that we have too many cases where a veg customer receives a non-veg product, right? The color coding, etc. is there. But I'm just saying that even if I'm a veg customer and I've ordered a cheese bomb and I get a paneer, that's not on, right? I mean, so I mean, within the veg also, I need what I've ordered. That's what I'm trying to say. That is there a use case?
So for
available?
pizzas, it's sort of easier to do because you can identify the toppings from the top. You can identify that this is capsicum, this is paneer, this is chicken. Through computer vision, you can actually identify those kind of things. For burgers, specifically saying we'll have to look at your CCTV feed and how the preparation is happening. Whether the elements from a computer vision can be identified differently. I think the answer will lie there. Devil's in the detail. So therefore, I think it's a...
Take it offline, Vishal, because I think it's a pretty interesting use case that we would definitely want to give a solution to. Thank you for that, sir. Sir, please.
Yeah, so most of the subjects our colleagues have already touched, so that leaves me with very little things to talk about, which is actually great. But I'll tell you my vision about AI and how it can help us from a pharmacy standpoint. So just imagine somebody's having a throat infection, right? So he will typically go to a doctor or consult online. The doctor will give you a antibiotic, he will give you a anti-allergic, he will give you a syrup, and he will tell you to gargle with betadine or whatever. This is a typical doctor prescription that he will write for 3 weeks. It says, "Okay, if you have fever, have it 2 times Medamol or a paracetamol." Now, what typically from a consumer behavior and what typically happens is you end up gulping everything together, right? So that's it. That's all we do, right? We have paracetamol, then we have anti-allergic, then we have 1 cup syrup, sab le liya, ek saath hi, and then we go to sleep. Because that anti-allergic in the night will give you good sleep, so that's why they have told you to take it in the night. So what happens is there is something called as drug-to-drug interaction, right? So you take everything together, and then there is a possibility that there is a reaction that will happen. Maybe you'll fall fast asleep for 2 more hours. You'll get some rashes. Whatever, anything is possible, right? So we want a AI tool that will help us to give solid recommendations to customer, saying that you have it in the gap of 15 minutes. Have this drug has these properties, right? And then should be avoided in the morning. You can have this in the afternoon, have this in the night. So with 65 or maybe a 1 lakh pharma products in the store, how can this AI solve this for me purely from an education perspective, right? So doctor will give you just 2 things, right? Have it in the morning, have it in the night, have this. But there is a lot more to it. And that is what we want to bring out from an education series to the patient. So what we are trying to do is we want to bring that out on the digital invoice that we will generate. These recommendations based on what products are actually built, these recommendations will flow from a doctor's advice. Obviously they will all be inputted and then we'll build AI on it. But we want those kind of recommendations to go to the customer.
No, it's a phenomenal idea, Kiran. Just thinking about it and hearing it, it sounds pretty good because this is something that I've never seen anyone at least do.
Yeah, nobody has done it.
Yeah.
This is something this is my vision
It's a
for
brilliant
pharmacy.
idea. Absolutely.
So there are pharmacovigilance teams, etc., and they're more in the hospital segment. But from the pharmacy where we are all resellers, what can we do extra for the customer is what we are thinking. The other things that I've noted down is purely on how AI is going to help in on-shelf availability. So what we do is we have 6,500 stores. I think you spoke about location intelligence. We call it something like a cycle safety, where if only 1 product is selling in that particular catchment in the year, then we will have only 1 product in that particular store. Correct. And then that is only for cycle safety because we have the intelligence to know that that product sells only once a year and some customer will come. We don't want to disappoint him, so I'll still store it, but it will still be at that particular ROQ only. We will not have 2, 3. Then let's say even if that particular SKU gets sold, then there is intelligence within the system where it will find out where is the nearby store where it is available. Then it will search the warehouse. It will check in the 5 kilometer radius. Then it will check in the nearest warehouse where the product is available. If it is not available in the warehouse, also maybe it is listed online because it's a long tail SKU. It's not available in the store. So no point paying extra capex in the pharmacy and stocking that product. I want to reduce my product, have the right kind of assortment, have the right kind of availability, and in turn, if I find it really good, then I'll tell my FMCG partner to make more turns and fulfill that one product into that pharmacy. So that's where we do this a bit manually, a bit AI can help us is what I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
The second thing is that at the scale at which we operate, very difficult to monitor. We have a team that monitors on camera. We have a lot of SOPs in place, but at the end of the day, it is the planogram that needs to be maintained. So how can AI tell us, there's the right product in skincare? Skincare also is there's a science to it, right? How we classify it is lotions, it is then acne, it is pimple, whatever that is. So if the product moves out, so there are sizes that the AI tool can capture and the right. Currently, it is all manual based where you have a photograph, the merchandising team does it, the store manager cross checks it. But is there a mechanism where the AI tool can help us if it's the right assortment is not there, if the product is unavailable? Is there an alarm that can be created? So that's the second point. The last point is the recommendation engine. Obviously, we use it for the AI with so many transactions in a day. The machine automatically tells what nudge you can give to the customer. But at the end of the day, it has to be validated by the pharmacist who is qualified to advise. So how can we become more accurate? So how can AI help us in that particular piece? Otherwise, rest of the journeys, whether it is mom and baby, whether it's a diabetic, chronic, etc., those kind of journeys, drop-off journeys, everything is already in place. Training model is pretty much sorted. But really, 2-3 things that we want AI to help us, just to streamline a lot of things, save cost, will bring more profitability into the business. That's what we are looking at.
Ketan, sir, for someone who started off by saying most of the ideas are already talked about, you've had a few things up your sleeve which are pretty good to hear. So I will be more than happy to talk to you about them because I especially like the first idea a lot. I mean, it's a pretty good idea.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. Adi, sir, would you like to say something to wrap up on our side, sir?
First of all, can you hear me?
I think you might need to get a bit closer, sir.
I'm really amazed to see the kind of use cases you already spoken. We said it's still on.
Do you want?
Even though I don't come from retail industry, I can clearly see the usage of AI, right from traditional AI to the generative AI. And just want to tell you the definition of AI has changed over a period of time. AI in 1950 was how do we codify our knowledge? That's how it started. I'm talking about. And when people speak about AI, they generally refer anything and everything. So the most important point is it started with how do you codify the knowledge which was sitting in people's head. Early 80s, it got converted into how can I use machine learning to predict something. And we actually saw many use cases. And the latest use case people are talking about is how do I humanize the whole thing? How do I bring the empathy to it? How do I basically eliminate the friction what we spoke about? So almost pretty much everyone covered a plethora of use cases right from left to right. Someone mentioned data and science and art. Here I would like to add one more point. I think retail is trying to see how do I basically improve the physical and digital. The new terminology which is called as phygital. How do I basically bring the phygital in it and create this? I think Nitin mentioned or Kiran mentioned that you obviously need to have data as an integrated thing. My only submission as an outside in perspective is there is no need to boil the ocean. Even if you have one use case in one specific area, go for it. Because you just can't. Data today is completely disintegrated, no matter how well organized you are. So pick up the use case, look at the end-to-end view, and just make sure that you bring all the pieces together. Then you can create wonders. And so, I have met many CIOs, many people. Though people speak about I need to have AI-enabled process, AI-enabled data. There is nothing called as AI-enabled process and data. You need to have it in place. You have to start the journey somewhere, get things together, put it together, and trust me, it will work. AI definitely is not a replacement strategy for human beings because machine don't purchase anything. It's human who purchase it. So it's only human to human interaction which will keep on going. So all the empathy is everything. Oh yes, AI will definitely bring a lot of recommendations to you. You will bring huge experience to it. So I think the new age hyper personalization is obviously going to play a big role. But I'm going with almost 10 to 15 use cases. First, and what excited me is a drug to drug interaction, which never stuck to me. I think it's one of the best interaction. And I think if you ask me, you can create very interesting use case around it. It is for any startup. And it is pretty much easy if somebody really thinks about it. Today, it is not possible because I think the data is disintegrated. But if we bring set of doctors together and get get the knowledge base built for the current, even the latest, like for example, you should not have liquor with some specific, medicines. Even if you bring that database together, I think it's a great journey to start, right? So with that,
So I think what I loved was, as you very rightly said, you were making notes diligently with the ink pen, which, I have stopped using it after my fifth standard. And you were making beautiful diagrams, etc. And I saw, and one ink pen got over, the second ink pen came out.
oh my God, you have been.
You're going to get a nice graphic very soon published by Rajendra.
I just
conference.
did the graphic, but just took the points.
Exactly.
Because everybody has mentioned so interesting
I really
points.
don't know whether I have such neat handwriting. I made one point and I stopped writing.
But I'll tell you, sir, the last point you mentioned about the liquor and drug interaction, you would have given Ketan a heart attack because the minute you say liquor and drug, north mein sab drug chhod ke taraf liquor peeta rahega, interaction na ho karke. But jokes aside, no, thank you so much for
but very interesting.
Really good summation.
I'll head off, you guys continue.
Yeah, fair
Sorry, I just want to thank you all. I have a speaking slot in the next 10 minutes, so I'll head for that. Kiran is with all of you.
I'm
sure.
wrap up as well.
Sure.
So once again, guys, thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This was a great session. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Honestly, for people that are running businesses at your seniority to be so clued on as to what is going on in your organization is just fantastic to see. I'm really heartened to see this. I could go on and on about what all we've integrated in HipHip, but I think I'll leave that for like our direct communications. But a lot of the things that you mentioned obviously were pain points that we've taken and integrated into the app. So we would definitely love to show you a demonstration of it at some point of time because I think we can definitely improve it with your help as well. So I'll obviously reach out to each one of you afterwards. But I hope you guys had fun in the session. And thank you so much for joining. And it was really phenomenal. Thank you so much.